G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed part 5 of my Webster engine build, link up there now, you can go watch that first. Then come back and watch this one. Alrighty, so let's head over to the bench and see what we can get up to in this episode. Over there. Alrighty, so I didn't get anywhere near as much done in that last episode as I wanted to because of the way I felt, and I apologise for being a merry miserable in that video. It was just, hopefully this one will go a bit better. But anyway, I didn't get this finished. It still has to have 2 holes drilled through here so it can mount up on the side of the cylinder head. It's also got to have a port drilled in here for the intake valve and a port drilled in here for the exhaust. And there's a port to be drilled in this side and then through there that gets everything in and out of the cylinder. So that's all got to be done yet. But once I get that out of the way, I should have those gears in the next couple of days. They're in the country, so I should have them in the next couple of days. I've got to get down to the bolt shop and have a look through their spring drawer and see if they've got a couple of springs like these, because I'd rather not make them if I don't have to. But it does tell you what to make them out of, music wire, and down on the highway there's a guitar shop down there, so a bit of luck they'll have some this music wire. So if I can't pick up a couple of springs from the bolt shop, I should be able to hopefully get some wire and for the first time in my life make up a couple of springs. So get them out of the way. I've also got to make these little retainer caps that sit on top of the springs, but I don't want to make them until those circlips get here. God knows when they're going to get here. I did send them a rather stern message saying, like, what the hell's going on? You claimed you had them packed and ready for transport the day I ordered them, and that was like, it's now 9 days ago. But what I want to do is when I make them up is, if I can, put a little recess down like in the top of it so that the clip can sit down in it, and you know, if it is a little loose, it can't just suddenly fall off, you know. It'll be sort of captive in the top of there. What else is there to make? That's a carburetor, which everyone keeps saying don't try to make one, but me being me, I'm kind of tempted to even have a crack at that. But anyway, we'll see how we go. But there is another one that Alan from Alan's workshop, he used this thing, and I've got the plans for it. It's a well, it's not really even a carburetor. I mean, what it is a fuel tank, and it has a piece that goes into the side of here, and basically all it does is draw fuel vapor off the top of the tank. So you only half fill the tank, so the top of the tank's full of vapor, and all it's doing is drawing vapor in and running it off that. They seem to work alright. I might have a go at crack at that one yet. I don't know, we'll see where we get to. On top of that, there are some to make like an exhaust for it. There's a couple of oilers to be made up to go in the tops of these, to oil these 2 bushes, the one either side. There's also this grease thing here. It's a little cup that you fill full of grease, and it screws onto the end of here, so that when you screw it in, it will force grease up into here. It has to have a hole drilled down through this pin here yet, and a little that way, so that when you squeeze the grease in, it'll squeeze out, and it also retains this, stops it coming off. What else we got to do? Oh, there's another hole to be drilled in the top of here yet, and this great big bloody an oil cup thing. Where is it? Here. This one gets this with a screw down in the centre to govern how much oil can drip down into it, and that is meant to both oil the cylinder and the gudgeon pin. Also, I think I said those gears are in the country, so I should have them in the next couple of days. We'll try and get that one off there now. Thankfully that wasn't a real tight fit in there, so hopefully with a bit of heat on it, it'll break the Loctite bond and I should be able to work it out. A bit of luck. Anyway, so we'll just we'll get on with what I can do and see how much I can get done in the next week. Alrighty, so I saw the doctor this morning. She said I can halve that medication, so hopefully that'll help. I'm not going to take one tonight and see how I feel tomorrow, and maybe we can get back on with this damn thing. In the meantime, 2 gears have arrived, and I checked them with this has got an 8mm hole, so I can put a pin in it, put it over it. 6mm there, so I put a spotting drill in there and just dragged it back and forwards to mark it, and it's just about bang on that crosshair I had in there, so that'll work out perfectly. I've been down to the bolt shop and grabbed a couple of springs that are no good. Tried to get some wire from the guitar shop, but that was like pulling teeth, so I tracked down these 3 packs of 6 strings for a guitar, and they're all different sizes, so hopefully I can find in there what I need to make the springs, because I can make no real sense of what these tell you on here is, you know, this is supposed to be all converted to metric, but I have found a couple of things where they weren't converted. And these at 0.013 and 0.022, that I think is 13 thou and 22 thou. So that'd be 0.32 and 0.56 millimeters. Because at 0.013, that'd be just about as thick as a hair, I reckon. And also, look what finally arrived. Bloody clips finally got here. Better late than never, eh? They do. I have tried a 2mm one on one of the valves, or both the valves actually. And this one's not too bad, but they're a bit loose. There is a 1.5mm one, which is so tiny you can almost not see the bloody things. I think that'll be too small. But a bit of luck, I might be able to just close them up a little bit, and I'll make that cap so that you push it on like that. Put the spring on, push the cap down, clip that on, let the cap back over it. A little recess so that that sits into the recess. Hopefully it'll stay there and won't ever come out. Alrighty, so that's about it, and I'll get on with drilling holes and things in this hopefully tomorrow if I feel a whole lot better after not taking one of those pills tonight. And I'll just get cracking on this bloody thing because it's starting to give me the screaming heebie-jeebies. Alrighty, so it's been a couple of days since I saw the doc, and I've had 2 nights of not taking those pills. My head still hasn't cleared out, but I can't put this off any longer. It's a week since I did any damn thing. So it's time to get on with this little secret. I'm actually a couple of weeks ahead of where I need to be. That's why I can waste a week and not do anything. You can still get a video every week. Anyway, time to drill some holes through this centerpiece. This one's got to be 4.5 through into that 7mm hole it goes through. These two 3mm all the way through. Alrighty, so that's that one done. Now I'll get the other 2 in there. For the inlet and the exhaust, they have to have ports in the side, and I'll get them set up and come back to you. Alrighty, so this is the exhaust and this is the intake. They both get the same size hole, and it has to be drilled down into this chamber in here so that the gases can get in and out. So let's do it. Oh, it's only just starting to touch the brass now. It's in 11mm and it's still not all the way through. God, these things are 1 inch wide. 12.7 is halfway through it. God. Alright, so I went to 12.7. If that's not far enough, I'll have to try and clean it out later. Well, I won't bore you with the other one's going to do exactly the same, so I'll get in and do that. And we'll have a look at it when I'm done. Alrighty, looks like when I made these I didn't quite go deep enough, because that drill's come through and cut through to where the shaft of the valve stem passes through. But I think they'll be okay. These holes are pretty much in the centre by the looks of them, so it's okay. There's very little left on the edges there though. Bugger all. Anyway, so we'll get this all put together. Let me go that way. A bit in the middle. And get some holes drilled and tapped in the side of the cylinder so we can fit all this stuff up. Alrighty, so now I'm going to drill a 4mm hole all the way through that, including through the cylinder, which is your inlet and your exhaust port. I've never seen an engine where the inlet and the exhaust are the same port, but anyway, that's what we're going to do here. So let's do it. I do believe that's all the way through. Okay. Now, this has to be bolted onto here. Right, and you can see the hole in there, so you've got to line up with that. And to make sure that these line up properly, what I'm going to do is just turn up a little pin. Now, I was going to drill this 4mm and it said 4.76 or something, so I drilled 4.5. I wish now I just made it 4 because I hadn't looked to see what size that was. But anyway, I'll get a bit of 5mm and turn it down to 4.5 and 4 so that I can put a pin in there and line this up properly before I mark the 2 holes that have to be drilled and tapped into here to bolt that on with. Alrighty, so I turned up the little pin. You can't see it, it's down in there. Put this little square up against it, get the drill down in there, and I'll mark that one first, then drill and tap that one, bolt it down, so that I can get this one and be sure it's not going to move. There you dirty rotten little thing. I'll just put this spotting drill back in there and give it a touch just to make doubly certain it's in the right spot. I only got in there 5.5mm before I thought I saw some cast iron dust come up out of that. Oh, Jesus. Alrighty, so how square is it? Yeah, pretty good. Alright, so that's that side of that done. We get on with doing something else, like maybe making up some springs or whatever to completely finish this valve body. Alrighty, after going through all those guitar strings, there's not much in there that's any use to me, really, because once you start getting above the thinner ones, they've got like a spring wrapped around them, so they're just bloody useless, really. So I've decided I'll run with these two springs that I got from down at the bolt shop. Geez, where's the other one gone? Oh, there it was right there. The one's a bit stronger than the other, that one there, so I'll use it for the exhaust. But this one has to be sucked open by the piston, drawing back. So it has to be fairly soft, this spring. But I've just checked that it doesn't seal very well at the moment, that valve, so I'll have to lap it in. I made up this little cap, and I don't know if you can see it there. I've got that clip to fit on it pretty well, and it's now been retained in the top of that cap, and the spring fits nicely over the bottom of it. These are a bit bigger in ID than they're supposed to be. They're supposed to fit neatly over the base of these things, but they're still around the size of that brass bit there, so it should be alright. So hopefully that will do the job. I'll have to get in and lap it in. Might just put a little bit of lapping paste on it and put the cordless drill on there and very gently lap the thing in. Got no other way of doing it, really. I want to put them back in the lathe when I get the chuck back on there, and just thin these heads out a little bit too. Anyway, that's it for the springs. I'm not going to bother trying making them. So I'll have a think about it for a minute and see where I go to from here. Got to pull this apart and check that hole that I've put through into the cylinder down there. It does show on the drawings that it's not just a hole, that they slot the thing, so I'll have to do that to it, I think. But anyway, that's the one that goes on the top there. But I'll make another one of these while you're not watching, and get the bottom one sorted out. I think what I'll do next, after I've done that, is make the exhaust valve actuating arm. Okay, I've got a drawing of it out at the moment, but anyway, that's what I'll be into next, I think. Far out, I can't take a trick here at the moment. When I reordered these gears, I ordered a 19T and a 38T, so 2 to 1. And I thought, oh, I'll machine these up, get them ready to fit up so I can, before I make that lever. And I just finished doing the little one, and I noticed it says 1M20 on there, not 1M19. I can't fucking take a trick. Oh well, I'll just send them a message and said, look, what are you going to do? Can you send me the right damn one? So I guess these two took nearly 2 weeks to get here, so more delays. Oh well, I'll find something else to do. I'll make that bloody lever up in the meantime. At least I can do this one and get that cam pushed onto it so I can check all that out. But I can't drill this hole in there until I get the right bloody gear. Alrighty, so I spent 2.5 hours this morning machining up this little strip of material here to make that exhaust valve arm, actuating arm. And I've never seen a more confusing bloody drawing in my life. There are measurements that just come from all over the frigging place. And there's not even a set measurement for how wide this thing needs to be to start with, because everything steps up and down, and it's just weird. But anyway, I think I've got it all sussed out now. Bar day today, and also it was also a shocking day because we didn't go yesterday. It took 2.5 hours to do what normally takes an hour, thanks to someone getting cleaned up down on the railway line last night at the railway crossing. So that's all closed, and a massive detour and huge traffic queues to bloody get up to the next one and come back again, and same for the return home. A pain in the arse. But anyway, so I've got about an hour and a half to try and get as much of this done as I can. So I'll get into it and see how we go. So what I'm going to do is take 1.59 off the top of this. I'll get this drawing back in here. Like I said, it's confusing as hell. I'm going to take 1.59 off the top to get down to the top of this square bit here. And then jump over it, drop in another 1.59 up to this shoulder here. So that's what I'm going to do first. That's what you call cutting it fine. There's not a lot of clearance over the top of that jaw. Alrighty, so I'll get that out of there and deburr it and get it set back up to do some machining on the other side, because that surface there is the size already. Alright, so I've got to lift this way up in the chuck more now so that I can get this last bit here down to only 3.1 millimeters thick. So I'm going to change this damn battery before it goes flat. Alright, you're going to take 3 millimeters off here. And then that'll be done as far as the milling goes, I think. Overshot it by 3/100 of a millimeter, but alrighty, so I'll deburr this. Alrighty, so I think I've ended up with something that looks like the bloody drawing. If I can get it to sit in one place. There we have it. It's going to have a couple of holes drilled in it. There's a little oil hole drilled in here, and a hole drilled through here for the adjusting screw for the lifter, and a hole drew through here that it pivots off like that. Alrighty, so that's that bit done. So now it's time to go to the bar and have some cleansing ales. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. Their continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now let's get back to the build. Alrighty, so while you guys weren't looking this morning, I took this over the drill press and drilled some holes in it, and did my level best to stuff it up. That's supposed to be a 1 millimeter hole, but the hole that goes through here got punched through there first, and I thought, oh you idiot. Oh well, it's just meant to be an oil hole. Just means it'll get a lot more oil than it was meant to get. It does have something on the drawing as a tappet that you need to make up. so you can adjust the valve clearances. But I just grabbed an M4 cap head and machined the bloody hex off it. So that, and because I tapped the wrong size thread in there, put M4 in it instead of M3 back when I should have done it, I just turned a bit of thread off a piece of all thread so I can screw that in there just for the time being to see how everything sits. Because I can't, there's a space to be made up goes in here as well, I think. It's supposed to have a step bolt. Screw with an M3 or some other number 4 thread or some bullshit on it, on the end of it, so that, you know, screwed in so far and I'm going further. But I can't really make that up until I get this other gear. I mean, if that gear hadn't been wrong, we could have finished this week, this part of it. This spring, I don't know, it's going to be much bloody good to me because it's sort of arse about. It's just not right, it's just arse about is what it is. If that bent back over this way, it might have been alright. It isn't. So anyway, I've got to see where all this sort of sits in here to get all of the spacings for that right. And I just can't do it without it. I pushed the cam on the back of this one. This is the one. This one's right, the 38 tooth one. And but anyway, so that works the way it should. Bloody shame about that because that came out so much better than I thought it would. To be honest with you, in all honesty. But anyway, that's about all I've got bloody time for this week. Once again, I've got bugger all done. Nowhere near as much as I would have really liked to get done. But if you did enjoy watching me do what the little bit I did do, make sure you smash that like button. Give it a great big thumbs up because you know it helps me out. Alright, so that's about it. And we'll see you all next week, see what else I can get done until that gear gets here. I can't get too much further in there, really. I don't know what else I can do. So I'll have a look. Oh, I did buy, before I go, I did buy a length of hollow aluminium and another lump to make some end caps out of. So what I can do, if I can't do anything much else, is do something about making up the fuel tank for here. But we'll find something to do. So until next week, bye bye.